Pledge of Allegiance. And we bow in an attitude of prayer. Gracious Heavenly Father, we come before you and call upon you this morning with heavy hearts. Lord, our community is hurting. Lord, we lift up and pray for the Wilkinson family. May you comfort them. May you give them peace. Lord, protect them, we pray. We pray for our law enforcement who has been tirelessly working throughout the weekend and day and night. And just, Lord, we pray for their well-being and protection. May you put a hedge of protection around them and give them safety and rest. Lord, may you guide us in our decision-making. We pray for the wife and the children through this custody battle, and pray for their protection also. Lord, we pray that the perpetrator will be found and brought to justice. And Lord, we pray for expediency through this process. Lord, just guide us and direct us. Use us this day for thy service, and that we would reach out to all the citizens of Washington County and do our very best. We pray in thy name. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good morning. We officially call our meeting to order here this morning for October 24th, 2023. And we do have call for approval of the minutes of October the 10th and the 17th. I would ask that we probably do a separate motion for each.
Motion to approve October 10th, 2023 minutes.
Second.
Motion is second to approve October 10th. All in favor by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Thank you. Minutes of October 17th.
Motion to approve October 17th minutes.
Okay, motion is second for October 17th minutes. All in favor by saying aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Commissioners' reports and comments. Commissioner Harvey, you want to go first today?
I have no comments today. Up first.
Mr. Kiefer?
Thank you. Just to I would just like to offer my personal condolences to the family of Judge Wilkinson, his family, his friends, his colleagues. I know he served county government, just not in the court system, and I know many of his friends here in county government. So my deepest sympathies. That's all.
Thank you. Mr. Wagner?
Good morning. I'd like to encourage everyone to offer prayers for Judge Wilkinson and his family. Let's see, I'm still getting over Derek not having comments, but okay, so let me think here a minute. Beam signing at Meredith was a really nice event at the School of Medicine. Good turnout and very well run. And I want to thank Meredith for all they do. I got treated pretty good there a week ago, 2 weeks ago now almost. I was able to attend BCA Breast Cancer Awareness at HCC this past week. Another great event, huge turnout. And you know, the survivors of breast cancer, they showed up in force. And I want to thank them for them and BCA Incorporated for all they do for the community. That's all I have.
Good morning, everyone. I also attended the breast cancer awareness event at HCC. I also attended the chamber event at Middletown Valley. At the beam signing ceremony for Emeritus Hospital School. All those were very nice events. And Saturday evening, I also attended the volunteer award ceremony at the Sharpsburg Museum. Ed Biller and his team are doing a great job of the little town with a little museum highlighting not just the history of Sharpsburg, of all of Washington County. And then finally, with note of sadness, my sympathies to Judge Wilkinson's family, his friends and his colleagues, and all of those who are suffering from his loss. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Klein. Again, my condolences to the Wilkinson family. Drew and I were friends. Together here at the county for 2 of my terms. When he went into private practice, I was a client. So just pray for the family. I attended many of the events that were already spoken about this morning, so I think what I'll do is just forego and kind of go over the upcoming events. One that's near and dear to my heart, there's a Hallelujah Carnival. Instead of a Halloween party, it's called a Hallelujah Carnival at our local Salvation Army next Monday night. There'll be hundreds and hundreds of kids there. And we pray for that event. Upcoming events, one that we really need to keep on our plans and schedules is next Wednesday, November the 1st, Department of Housing and Community Development, Washington County Tour Day. It's a pretty heavy schedule. Starts at 10 a.m. and goes through 8 p.m. Next Wednesday. So keep that in mind. List of other upcoming events that I have here. Grand opening of Horizon Goodwill Mobile Outreach Unit, Prospect Street. That's today, Tuesday, October 24th. That's actually at 10 o'clock this morning, so obviously none of us will be able to attend that event, but we wish Horizon Goodwill, their outreach in this community is quite impressive, so we wish them well with an additional announcement here today. Comprehensive Plan meeting in Williamsport, Wednesday, tomorrow, the 25th at 6 p.m. Williamsport Voluntary Fire Company. Grand opening, and I think that is the last comprehensive, be of note. That is the last one that's publicly being held. Grand opening Yesterday's Lane, Friday, October 27th at 10 a.m. That is
Fire
on
company being.
Baltimore Street in Funkstown. Of course, this Saturday is the Mummers Parade. I understand that there is a Washington County float, if you will, and for the commissioners and their families and anyone else. I think there's plenty of room on it. I think Doug had said it's capable of holding 20 people or something. So
I think it was 16 and,
16?
Yeah, who's, did you, I don't know who all is going to be on, but I think, staff out here is going to be on it. So.
Okay, so. Eagle Scout ceremony for Grant Hausler, Sunday, October the 29th, 1 p.m., American Legion in Boonesboro. Heart of the Civil War Heritage Year in Review, next Wednesday, November the 1st, 6:30 p.m., down at the Weidenberg Center. I think I have a ticket to attend that. Grand opening for Proud Peacock Boutique, Thursday, November the 2nd, 2 p.m., Conococheague Street in Williamsport. And anyone have anything else that I might be missing? So, no other reports. We'll move into staff comments. And I guess first is Dawn.
Yes. I placed a handout at each of your desks. You see a Christmas ornament there. Good morning, Commissioners. I'm requesting a consensus to move forward with the purchase of Christmas ornaments for handouts at the Salvation Army bell ringing event and other holiday events as needed. The ornaments would be pictured as in the handout that's been presented to you. They would have the county logo on one side, and we could put a holiday message on the other side. We can have the year on there, we can leave the year off if we prefer to do that. The ornaments are shatterproof. There are two options for ornaments. There is the traditional round ball type ornament. This would cost approximately $1,000 for 300 bulbs. And then there's a flatter ornament that would still have the same design on it, and the cost would be approximately $1,000 for 500 ornaments. There is money in the Commissioner's promotional budget for this.
She just needs a consensus from the commission to move forward with it.
Yeah, I'm okay with it.
What's been done in the past?
Nothing, I don't think.
Yeah.
And, I mean, have we done this in the past? Ornaments, is there usually a Christmas?
No, we were just looking at providing a handout while the Commissioners are out at the Salvation Army bell ringer to people who donate or to other events that you may go to. We will probably put the ornaments on our tree in the lobby.
Okay, just want to understand sort of how we were planning on using it. For the Salvation Army and the bell ringing and
And other events.
other events, okay, good.
Consensus?
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay with me.
Do you have a preference as to the ball or the flatter ornament?
What's the ball, what's ones less apt to break, because I'll probably drop a half dozen of them.
Shatterproof.
Oh, they are?
Personally, I like the one with the county logo on it.
They'll both have, they would
both
both look like the front and back.
Oh, okay.
They would have a
Okay.
logo and a message on the back, so it would just be.
I think the
get
flat
more-
one's easier to carry around.
Okay.
And
we
you,
can
and
get
and
more.
we get more for the dollar,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's easier, I can carry a half dozen in my pocket or something.
Okay. Okay, anything else, Dawn? Michelle? Morning.
Good morning. I attended the joint meeting with the town of Clear Spring last week. I also took a tour of the county landfill, and I was impressed with the environmental work that goes on during those operations. I also attended various other meetings with local business partners, county, state, and local officials. I'd like to extend my sincerest condolences to the Honorable Judge Wilkinson's family. My heart goes out to them during this unimaginable tragedy. During this tragedy, we did see many of our county employees rush to aid and investigate this tragic incident. I'd like to thank our law enforcement officers at Washington County Sheriff's Office, Sheriff Albert, Maryland State Police, Department of Natural Resources, Hagerstown Police Department, as well as our Division of Emergency Services and other public safety partners who responded and for their dedicated work this weekend. I'd also like to thank our Human Resources Department and our Public Works Departments for rising to the occasion by coordinating grief counseling for employees, listening to employees who were distraught, and for implementing safety measures at the courthouse. There will be no meeting next week. The next meeting is on November the 7th, and that's everything I have.
Okay. Any other reports or comments? Anything we've forgotten? Okay. Next up is citizens' participation. This is an opportunity for citizens to comment about an issue or issues of county practices and interests. This is not an interactive dialogue or question and answer session. It is solely time to hear citizens' comments. Please limit your remarks to 3 minutes. Thank you. Citizens this morning? Good morning. Good morning. Excuse me, what, good morning. One thing I did forget, we need your name and address for the record, please.
Good morning, County Commissioners. I'm Beth Harvey from Smithsburg, Maryland, and I'm joined by a fellow officer of the Washington County Commission for Women for a short update on our ward's activities. To celebrate the accomplishment of women in Washington County, the Washington County Commission for Women partnered with TEDx Hagerstown Women, and for the second year in a row, saw this global event take place at Hagerstown Community College Kepler Theater. The theater staff at HCC is outstanding, and with the support of Antietam Broadband, the stories of 5 local leaders of our county should soon debut on TED.com. Photos from the event can be found at TEDxHagerstownWomen.com. The Women's Commission hopes to see this event continue into the future, and I want to thank the commissioners for their private support of the event and the county's support too. We really appreciated seeing that happen. It was a success and setting the stage for 5 women of Washington County as well as 2 regional women to share big ideas. In August, to support women in recovery, the Commission facilitated a financial literacy course for women at Brooks House. This program was able to continue with the support of the Western Maryland Consortium and independent facilitators Barbara Martin and Courtney Beaver, as well as Chick-fil-A of Hagerstown and Jersey Mike's, who provided catering during the classes. The Commission's grateful for the community partners who supported this effort.
Hello, I'm Mary Hendrickson, and my address is 1538 Kensington Drive in Hagerstown, Maryland. I'm the Secretary of the Washington County Commission for Women, and I'm proud to work alongside Beth Harvey and also Mr. Wagner, who's on our commission as well. I've worked as a faculty member at a college level and administrator for more than 35 years, so I'm not a young woman. Most recently, I work at Hagerstown Community College. I have a special commitment to the success of women and girls in all occupations, including politics and business. The Commission's next meeting will be November 8th, and we're looking forward to hosting a special guest speaker who is going to be the state's attorney. Additionally, we want to invite women in our community to save the date to attend a town hall style meeting that will take place January 10th at 6 p.m. And we will be looking forward to hearing from the women of the community about various issues that they might have on their minds. We invite you all to follow us on Facebook, LinkedIn, or email us at wccwmd@gmail.com for more information. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other citizens' participation this morning? Hearing none. Our next item agenda is HCC Dental Hygiene Program. Good morning, Dr. Klauber.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman. It is that time of year again for me to bring some gifts for you all to either use for yourselves or to give to your constituents or to give to family and friends. Does not matter, but we want you to have those. I know Commissioner Keeper's already a huge fan, but I'm going to spread these out in the audience as well.
I feel like I just came from the dentist.
Well, you can give it to somebody else. But October is Dental Hygiene Month, and we want to celebrate that with you. Golly, I brought just the right amount with me. That's amazing. But we want to come and I want to thank you all again for your support on 2 Appalachian Regional Commission grants who help purchase dental hygiene chairs for our dental hygiene program. We've got 38 students in that program now. We doubled the size of the program, which brings me to you to ask you to go and promote among your constituents and others in the community good oral hygiene, but also if they do not already have a relationship with a dentist or they don't have insurance, then they can come to our clinic, which is a low cost. It's not free. It is an at cost, really, at our dental hygiene clinic where our students can work on them under a supervision of a dentist. And I included in your packet a list of the procedures that we do and the charges that we have for them. And also, I would love to take credit for this myself, but I didn't think of it. Our faculty did, and that was a salute to our veterans. We're going to take 100 veterans in November, I think over a couple of days, and provide them free examinations and cleaning. So if you all could help me promote that, because I think we still have some slots left among our, for our veterans, that would be great as well. And two things in conclusion, I think last year when I came, I walked out, someone from WCPS said, oh, you could fill up all those chairs, with WCPS kids. And that's true, but all of our hygienists are not going to go work in pediatric dentistry. They need to see old mouths, young mouths, mouths of coffee drinkers and red wine drinkers and people with gingivitis and other things. They need to see the whole gambit because they're going to be going to work in a general dentistry office, chances are, here in Washington County. And then finally, I'd say if you have friends or people who are interested in the dental hygiene program, don't look past dental assisting. Dental hygiene is a very difficult program to get in and get through, probably one of the toughest ones that we have. So, for those who say, well, I think I want to take all those hard sciences before I go into dental hygiene, Dental Assist is there as well, and you can work in an orthodontist office or work in a dental office, right, with the dentist. So 2 great career options to celebrate this month. I wanted to celebrate them with you and ask you just to go out and promote them, not asking for a nickel today. So promote those programs for me. It would be a great service.
Yeah, I have an idea there, Dr. Klauber.
Yes, sir.
Just a quick story. I listened to Phone Party. Okay, I know I'm old, but I listened to the Phone Party. And twice I've Facebooked Lou Scally because people couldn't find a dentist. They couldn't get into a dentist, elderly people. So I've recommended your program to check it out. So if I was listening to that and I wanted to come and get some dental work done for one reason or another, we just call out there and within a week or two you'd get in, or
get you an appointment probably in less time than that.
Okay, and so you might want to promote with on Jay. I mean, get Lou to throw a plug in for you. Go in and talk to him because that's a whole world of
Absolutely.
clientele.
It sure is. It really is.
Lou was doing it yesterday.
What? Oh, he was?
Yes.
Oh, awesome. Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, thank you all. I don't want to take up your busy time, but I appreciate all that you do for us and for Washington County.
Well, Dr. Klauber, I have to say it. This is a great program. A shout out to my niece, Sunny Shriver, who graduated within the last year or two. Time flies, but I know she's very happy in her career now. She went through the dental hygiene program, and it's great that we have this in our community to train individuals, but also to help people with low-cost dental services. So
That's right.
Thank you.
And we do work with the dentists, and, we cooperate with them. We always need more patients.
Do you have a waiting list for students to get into this program?
Yes, we do, and I tell you, our catalog will tell you that, I want to say that it's like a 2.5 GPA minimum to get into that program, but that's not really true because the competition is so keen to get into that program. You really need to have above a 3.5 in order to be seriously considered, and that's why I say, look, if you don't have the grades there, take a look at dental assisting instead. Right. It's a little shorter time period. You're going to be basically doing many of the same things. You can go and do that for a couple of years, and then you can position yourself much better to come back and do the hygiene program later on.
Makes sense.
My understanding is that overall physical health, first sign is a dental hygiene.
That's exactly right.
Examination.
You can be a lot of other serious bodily ailments that can be early identified in your mouth with just regular cleaning and inspections.
Very important to overall health.
Yes, sir.
So,
Well, thank you.
Thank you for your program.
Great day.
Appreciate it.
Just makes me want to brush my teeth, Dr. Klauber.
Floss. Make sure you floss. Okay, next item, no bid tax sale parcels, outstanding tax charge waiver. Good morning, Paul.
Morning, Commissioners. Okay, so I'm Paul Falk with the City of Hagerstown Planning and Code Administration Department, and we're in front of you today requesting a waiver of $142,064.71 of back taxes owed to Washington County for 25 parcels either withheld or not purchased at the tax sale in June of 2023. So where does some of this authorization come from? The last General Assembly passed the House Bill 779 or Senate Bill 518. They were cross-filed with each other. That went into effect on June 1st, where the city could either withhold properties from a tax sale. So we worked with the County Treasurer's Office, chose 6 parcels to withhold from the tax sale because these are properties that are very blighted and need to be demolished in the community. And that is the city's intention, is to demolish these properties. The tax sale occurred with those properties being withheld, but then in addition to that, approximately 40 to 45 properties never get purchased at a tax sale. Of those 19 parcels were not purchased that were in the city of Hagerstown. They were basically vacant land that are not being utilized. So there were 14 parcels of those 19 that were properties that were demolished by the city previously. And 4 of those parcels are undeveloped or are not able to be developed. And then 1 parcel to make note of is the former pump house for the old MILP plant that the city of Hagerstown used to have many years ago. So by waiving the outstanding taxes that are owed, the city could obtain tax certificates and find a new owner of the property, whether or not that be working with our Chapter 224 that the city passed in January of 2020 to work with the abutting property owners for the vacant land, or with the parcels that were able to be redeveloped, then finding a purchaser of those parcels so that we can find it being contributing back to the community. City staff has worked with the County Treasurer's Office, county attorneys to discuss the process with the state law that was passed and what our next steps are. And the next step is asking for this waiver of the back taxes that are owed. The city was going to follow the state law process of notifying property owners once we went to acquire the tax certificate. So we will go through the proper course of filing the right of redemption in circuit court. It would all be the hearing through the court. It would be a decision made. We would follow all the legal service of making sure the property owners were well aware of what the city's intentions are. So this is not something that is just kind of being done behind the scene. Everything will be done very publicly and very notified, legal service. The city has part of this in the game as well here. We're going to be waiving $972,291.34 of back taxes. So we have a significant amount that we're looking to waive as well. So again, the city's asked from the commissioners is to authorize the city to work with the treasurer's staff, accounting staff, and the county attorney to work with the city to waive the approximately $142,000 of the unpaid back taxes on the 25 parcels that were either withheld or not purchased at the 2023 tax sale in order for the city to acquire the tax certificates.
I would definitely agree with getting rid of blighted properties. I guess the only question I have is, and I think it's something that has to be done, is what you've identified. What do you foresee 2 years from now? This isn't everything blighted, I'm sure. That you got a wish list still coming. So this will be ongoing and continuous?
Yes, the goal is this is the city, since the state law was just passed, there's just us kind of seeing, what the process is, how to go through it all, and then there'll be other ones coming down the line, hopefully an annual basis to eliminate the blight that we do have in the community.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I'd be fine with it, so.
So your first name again is?
Paul.
Paul, okay, Paul. So you're waiving the taxes that are owed, and these have been put up for tax sale before?
Yes.
Right, and they've not been purchased because of the obligation of the purchaser to pay for the taxes, is that correct?
Yes.
So, and they're still owned by somebody?
Yes.
All right. So if we waive the tax, in that process, the city is getting ownership of the property automatically after going through a process?
Correct. We still have to file through the court system to do it, yes.
Okay, and then you say here that it's going to, you look to transfer those properties after you go through that process to somebody or some entity. And then it's preferably to a nonprofit. And then, or if it's an empty parcel, maybe offer it for sale to an adjacent owner
Yes.
based upon evaluation of the property at that point in time?
Yes, so the city passed an ordinance in January of 2024, or of 2020.
And that would be a fair market value of an empty lot in the city?
There would be,
Because the property will have been demolished, right? Is that what you're saying?
these parcels that we would look to acquiring through the neighboring properties are already vacant lots.
Oh, they're all, these are all vacant lots we're talking about.
Of the ones that would go to an adjoining property owner, they're already a vacant lot.
What about the ones that have a home on it that is blighted?
So the city's intention is to demolish those properties then and find a redeveloper to develop that land because they are buildable property lots.
Okay. And you're hoping to get fair market value for that? We're not just going to transfer it to somebody's buddy?
No,
Or to a nonprofit that might be connected to somebody else?
No.
Okay.
The intentions are to.
How do we audit this and make sure that it's up and everyone knows what's happening?
So with the adjoining property owners, that would follow the city ordinance that was passed in January of 2020. So we would follow that for the vacant parcels. For the lots that we would demolish, it would go through what the city has called a competitive negotiated sale process, where they would go onto a website for people to make bids and offers, and then be approved by the mayor and council then for any transfer.
Okay, and then there is some criteria that if it's transferred or if it's sold at some value that's less than market value or something, that what's the criteria that they have to go through to make sure that it's habitable, to make the properties habitable, or to meet some standard? Is there some standard here that's going to have to be applied?
Well, the parcels that we would look to transfer to, whether a nonprofit or something along those lines, would be a vacant lot. We would demolish the property, so they would have to go through the permit review process to construct a new structure on the property to ensure that they are habitable.
Okay. But that's going to be a requirement that they do that within a certain time period?
Yes, because if they do not, then they would revert back to the city of Hagerstown and we find a new purchaser for the
And that's all
property.
going to be in the contract, and you already have those SOPs and criteria already established, correct?
Yes, through our Chapter 224.
Okay, good. So, and I imagine that the nonprofits that you might consider transferring these to, as opposed to selling them to, might be something like Habitat for Humanity?
We've worked with several nonprofits. We put an inquiry out to the nonprofits to see which ones would want to be pre-authorized to be considered for the properties, and we had interest in those. We've met with several agencies such as Habitat for Humanity, the Student Trade Foundation with Washington County, several of those to acquire those properties.
And, okay, so. Okay, so I have a good idea of how you're thinking about this then. And how many properties overall? 25?
25 parcels.
But you expect, as Randy was saying, more next year?
Correct, yes.
And-
Our goal is to eventually make it where we are not having any properties continuously go through a cyclical tax sale process with Washington County.
You know, actually, this might be in a sense a better plan, because I'm sitting here thinking, if you're guaranteeing that I'm not going to buy one of those houses that haven't been destroyed and not make it just as bad or as worse, if you can guarantee that, the only reason these places haven't been sold is because of tax.
Well,
No
that's
one wants to pay the tax.
That's what I was thinking. If we eliminate the tax and put them on the market,
I just wouldn't want someone to buy it and one that's existing, not a lot, and sit on it and make it keep it blighted because they got it free of no back tax. And we have a safeguard for that. It sounds like we do. And it would actually be, it might be not a bad plan actually to cinch all your, what I think I'm hearing, all your safeguards that can't happen. That would be my only fear, that John Doe would buy it and just leave it like it is.
The goal is with the city would be finding the end user for the property.
Because they're gonna have to put some skin in the game if they don't have to pay taxes.
Yes, yes, and to make you aware that several of these properties are parcels that have never been claimed in the states. Unfortunately, several of these are with people that have passed away, and the estates did not claim the parcels and the land. So we have to work with the estates of the family and working with the attorneys to find someone that would be responsible and serve.
Yeah, the only thing that I'm just still not clear on is they haven't sold because of the tax liens on them. If you eliminate all the tax lien and you just put them up on the market for sale with criteria that says they have to be developed, repaired, made habitable.
One thing is that the 19 parcels that we're talking of the 25 are already vacant land that you are, with the city constraints of the size of the lots and zoning laws, you can't build a house back on it. It's just vacant land. It can't be repurposed for another
Oh,
purpose.
19 of them are,
Yes, 19
like
of them
that.
are vacant land that can't be repurposed.
oh, that's new information.
So those 19 properties are likely to just add on to a neighbor's backyard or side yard?
Correct, and we've already worked with the tax assessor's office on that. It would have no effect on increasing their taxes. It would just be that it would give them more land, they would maintain it, and the city wouldn't have to continuously maintain it or turn into a dumping ground for the neighborhood just to put debris.
It won't add to their taxes? I thought we were hoping to put these back on the tax rolls.
It will not add to their increased taxes for the ones that have the lands beside of them. They're right now, they're assessed at $10,000 for vacant land, but they said if they went adjoining to the neighboring property, it would not increase their taxes. And honestly, as a citizen, you would think that, okay, if I wanted to acquire this land next to me, how much are my taxes going to increase? And people wouldn't want to acquire them if their taxes are going to go up. We all know that people want taxes to go down. So the goal is to have someone else maintain the land and not have the taxpayers maintaining the lands that we have right now.
It could possibly go up with next tax assessment, couldn't it?
It could, but when we talked to the tax assessed office, they said it would not have an effect on their taxes.
Okay.
Now, did you create the ARF for us, Paul, or was that county staff who created it? Because I look in the letter, it says listed on the attached documents, the 25 properties, and then on our ARF, the 25 parcels being presented, but I don't have any listing of properties.
I apologize if that was the case, that it wasn't included. The 25 parcels are on a list here that we can provide to the commissioners.
So,
I can make a copy of that if you have it right now.
Paul, just one suggestion here. For the landowners that might be acquiring the property that's adjacent to theirs, if we're saying that their taxes won't go up, I think it should be clear and in writing that it won't go up for a certain period of time. So that there's no ambiguity. And, because the incentive, what you're after is someone to take care of the property, so it's not a dump area. The city has to come and mow it or get rid of rats on it or whatever. So, but given somebody, what I just heard is the taxes could go up in a year or two because of that.
It is all taken through the state of Maryland. I can't speak for them.
Okay.
Because that would be their assessment, and then the city and the county base their tax rates off of the assessed values of by the state.
I got you, okay. I'm fine with it.
Okay.
Motion to approve.
Motion to approve.
A second. Motion and second. All in favor by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
I'm not opposed, but I'm just going to abstain. I think we should have been given a list of the 25 parcels. I think that gives an opportunity just for some added public scrutiny. Anytime land is given away for free, I think has been some controversial at times, and I support the general premise. A little concerned that we're being told it's to put them back on the tax roll, but it sounds like 19 of those 25 properties won't be put back on the tax rolls. So
That's correct.
I think some fine tuning would have been better, but I'm not opposed to the general idea, and hopefully the next time you come with more properties, I'll be a yes.
No, thank you. All right, thank you all.
Thank you, Paul. Next, we have Agricultural Faces of Farming presentation. Our wonderful, famous Leslie Hart.
Did you finalize that vote?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah.
No, you just had a first and a second, didn't you?
No, but I called for a vote and.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we have,
It was four.
Four and an
abstention.
abstention.
Right. Yeah, we had it. Good morning, Leslie.
Good morning. How was everyone this morning? Happy Tuesday. Leslie Hart, Washington County Department of Business and Economic Development. I'm here today to present to you our monthly version of Faces of Farming. Just as a reminder to you that Washington County agriculture is the largest industry in the state of Maryland, and we have over 900 farms. I'm very excited that the census of agriculture will be rolling out in the first quarter of 2024. I'm very excited to see it, and I will definitely come and share it with you because all of our numbers have indicated that everything is going up in the agricultural sector, and I look forward to sharing that with you. So today, we feature two farms, a vegetable and fruit operation in the Smithsburg area, 78 acres, and they have an abundance of beautiful fall products right now. And then the other feature today is a little bit different. It is youth from Ag Expo and Fair, talking about the fair and farming. So, PR, if you roll that beautiful bean footage.
Highly diversified fruit and vegetable farm. We grow Hello, my name is Matt Harsh, and we're at 78 acres in Smithsburg, Maryland. So we are a highly diversified fruit and vegetable farm. We grow about 60 acres of tree fruit, 60 acres of vegetables, and about 20 acres of wine grapes. We have onions, squash, so summer squash and fall squash, cucumbers, watermelon, cantaloupe, greens, just about every vegetable we grow at least some of it. Branches of my family have farmed in the Smithsburg and Ringgold area for about 5 generations now. And this particular farm was bought by my great-great-grandfather in the late 1930s. And he bought it and immediately sold it to his son, who was a school teacher but also wanted to farm. And he farmed here, and then my mom and my uncle farmed here, and then my wife and I have been here now. I worked for the family farm for a while, and then for about 5 years I worked for Penn State Extension up in Adams County, Pennsylvania. And I'd also spent some time overseas before that in New Zealand, learning about agriculture there and getting a degree in ag business. Things just kind of worked out to come back here. What I really wanted to do was farm full time. I wasn't really interested in working for somebody else. I wanted to work for myself and I wanted to farm. And in the early 2000s, things finally came together that we could go back to farming full time. We have about 25 employees. Some of them are part-time. We have 18 in the field full-time right now. Agriculture is important because everybody's got to eat. You know, it comes down to that. If you can't feed yourself, you're going to be relying on somebody else to feed you. And if we don't have farmers and we don't have agriculture, then people don't eat. So I think it's really that simple.
My name is Madison Toms. I'm from Williamsport, Maryland, and this is Miko. My favorite part this year has been my steer show. I did really good. He got reserve all other breeds, so I was very proud of that.
My name is Blake Thompson. I live in Clear Spring, Maryland. Today I have Leroy, and he is straight Angus. My favorite part about Ag Expo is getting the joy of showing my animals.
Hi, my name is Sam Straight, and I live in Smithsburg, Maryland. I'm showing 2 pigs. The most important thing in agriculture to me is the people around you. Everybody is willing to help you no matter what it is.
My name is Lane Poffenberger and I live in Clear Spring, Maryland. My favorite part about the Ag Expo and Fair is hanging out with my friends and going to events at the track.
Hi, my name is Kaylee Umps and I'm from Hagerstown, Maryland. My hard work has been working with my animals and spending time with them every day.
My name is David Leather. I'm from Smithsburg, Maryland. I think the most important thing about agriculture is learn all the responsibilities that we have around the farm
Everything around us is here because of agriculture. If we don't keep the industry alive and well, then we won't have any of the things that we enjoy in our everyday life.
I wanted to roll that out today because tonight is the Ag Expo banquet, so they're going to see it again this evening. So I'm very excited about that.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have proclamation for Economic Development Week. Good morning. Jonathan?
Morning, Commissioners. Jonathan Horowitz, Director of the Department of Business and Economic Development. We're just here to recognize Economic Development Week and the work that our department does and the impact we make to the community. Just a reminder, the Economic Development Department is here to add jobs to the community and increase our tax base so that it avoids taxes on the citizens. So I've brought my team over with me today. I just want to recognize that Linda Spence is not here with us today. She's at an event up in Rocky Gap. Economic Development Week is sponsored and spearheaded by MEDA, who's the Maryland Economic Development Association. So just wanted to bring everybody in and recognize their hard work all year and remind the citizens that to check out Washington County social media because we're running a little contest this week, a trivia contest, and we're giving out some $50 Visa gift cards to the winners. So please check out our social media and answer some questions for us and get yourself in that drawing. And I believe everybody wants to come up maybe for a photo.
All right.
Okay, no, go ahead, John, you do that.
You all coming up?
Oh, you're going to do the proclamation
Well,
first?
go ahead and give the proclamation, take pictures. Why don't we just go ahead and come on up now?
All right, you say so.
We are very blessed. We have an incredible team. And if you don't believe so, all you have to do is come to the Mako Summer Conference and see how hard they work there. They outshine everybody across the state. And just a personal note of thank you to each and every one of you for everything you do and make Washington County look good and taste good. And it's nice to hang out with you.
Thanks, John. Appreciate that.
So on behalf of the commissioners, I'd like to present this Economic Development Week, October 23rd through the 27th. Whereas the Washington County Department of Business Development is an active member of the Maryland Economic Development Association, MEDA, a nonprofit organization established in 1961, whose mission is to enhance the knowledge and skills of its members, to encourage partnerships and networking among people committed to bringing jobs and capital to Maryland, and to promote economic development as an investment in Maryland. And whereas MEDA members promote the economic well-being of Maryland by working to improve the state's business climate and the professionalism of those in the field of economic development, including other professionals with an interest in the economy of Maryland. And through its regular meetings, special programs, and projects, members address diverse issues. And whereas the economic growth and stability of the state affects all regions and jurisdictions of Maryland, and the Washington County Development of Business Development is an important component of the state's economic success. Now, therefore, we, the Board of County Commissioners, Washington County, Maryland, do hereby proclaim the week of October 23rd through the 27th, 2023 as Economic Development Week. In Washington County, Economic Development Week will highlight the investment in partnerships that strengthen our competitiveness in Washington County and ask all citizens to join us and to recognize and reaffirm the importance of business development locally and statewide. Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Great
Thank you, Jonathan.
I'll text you.
Next up is Oak Ridge Pump Station upgrades.
Mark Bradshaw, Director of Environmental Management. I'm here today to request the board approval of change order number 1 for Pumping Solutions Incorporated, PSI, in the amount of $82,011.41 and a time extension to September 22nd, 2023. The notice to proceed was issued for the project on February 7th of 2022 and established a completion date of August 5th, 2022. But the Motor Control Center wasn't delivered until the site until March 13th, 2023. The delay in delivery of the MCC required the bypass pumping to remain in place, and of course that generated a lot of additional expenses that the contractor had to endure as no fault of their own. So the breakdown of the change order is for the bypass pumping. The pump rentals was $51,765.41, and the fuel required for the duration was $24,640. As a result of the change order, the contractor has to give us a bond and the bond surety is charged 1% for the bond. So that amounts to $764.05. The overhead and profit are the county's general conditions allow contractor to add 20% profit and overhead to work performed. PSI is requesting 10% profit and overhead, which totals $7,716.95. And the county did assess liquidated damages in the amount of $2,875, which brings the grand total of change order to $82,011.41. And the county attorney has reviewed this, and they are also in concurrence with the change order.
Questions?
Motion to approve.
We have a motion, we have a second?
Second.
Okay, ready to vote? Any other questions, comments, concerns? I will say I know firsthand getting switchgear, motor control centers, anything electronically, the last 2 or 3 years have been extremely difficult.
Yes.
In some cases, it's, before you even purchase it, you're quoted 70-plus weeks delivery time, so.
Just a question, there are adequate funds in LIN 034 to cover this change. Could you tell me what account that is?
It's pump stations, various locations. It's a CIP project under Water Quality's budget. We have a generic one for pump station upgrades, and that's where the money's at. That's where the original contract was awarded out of too.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, we have any other questions, comments? We have a motion and a second on the floor to approve as submitted. All in favor by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you, Mark. Next item is jail-based medication-assisted treatment, MAT, and reentry program.
Good morning. Megan Willis, Director of the Day Reporting Center. The Washington County Detention Center was awarded $491,374 in grant funding from the Opioid Operational Command Center, OOCC, in order to expand access to medication-assisted treatment, MAT, and continue coordination of MAT services post-release as required under House Bill 116. The program provides funding for program staff and MAT medications. The program staff have found that the inmates have been diverting their tablets of buprenorphine and saving them rather than taking them as directed. To circumvent this situation, staff would like to switch from the tablet form of the medication to the injectable version. The injectable is much more expensive than was budgeted for the tablet, so a budget adjustment is requested as follows. Reduce grant-funded Vivitrol by $8,769. Reduce grant-funded salaries and benefits for the addiction counselor and peer recovery specialist by $118,070.56, and that amount will be funded within the WCDC fiscal year 24 budget. Increase grant-funded buprenorphine by $126,839.56. The OOCC has already approved this modification within the grant budget. County Commissioner approval was requested to complete the internal budget adjustment.
Okay.
Motion to approve.
I second.
Motion is second. All in favor by saying aye? Aye. Thank you. Next, we have Police Accountability Trial Board Oath Standing Agreement. Zach?
Good morning, County Commissioners. Zachary Kiefer, Assistant County Attorney. I'm here today to request a motion to approve and execute the Police Accountability Trial Board Agreement between the Office of Administrative Hearings, or OAH, and the Board of County Commissioners. The Public Safety article of the Maryland Code, which created the Police Accountability Board, and the Administrative Charging Committee, which have brought matters to the board recently, mandates that each law enforcement agency establish a trial board. The trial board shall be chaired by either a retired judge or an active or retired administrative law judge. This agreement would allow the county to retain the services of an ALJ to chair the Sheriff's Office Trial Board on an as-needed basis. The contract was presented in the, along with the ARF, and generally, talking dollars and cents, which is, I think, what obviously the big concern here is. The OAH will charge $200 an hour for the ALJ to run these trial boards, which are mandated by the state. The other alternatives are we could seek out and contract with a retired ALJ or retired district or circuit court judge individually, but it's the I believe the opinion of the county attorney's office that the form contract with the Office of Administrative Hearings is sort of the easiest and most straightforward way to retain the services of a chair.
Only question I have, Zach, and maybe a concern, I'm not sure.
Sure.
The alternative is we get to pick an ALG, but am I correct so far?
That's correct, yes.
So who picks I guess this is a trial, which is the ultimate outcome of the first responder, police officer. Is this the judge that'll rule over the final?
If the law enforcement officer is dissatisfied with the recommendation of the Administrative Charging Committee, which hears complaints involving members of the public against law enforcement officers, then they can elect to appeal the recommendation to this trial board.
To the okay.
Correct.
So who picks, if we don't, who picks the ALG?
Ultimately, it is it's the county commissioner's choice. This is sort of this contract allows us to basically call up the Office of Administrative Hearings, request a list of 3 names. They'll send 3 viable ALJs to a list, or the contact information. The county gets that list of 3 to choose from, and then this board ultimately
So if we don't
picks.
get involved, we still get a final say in who the ALG is. Is that correct?
It has to, yes, it has to be the commissioners who choose that
I'm
ALJ
just
or
concerned
judge.
with what could possibly happen if we didn't have some say of who this judge was that controlled this officer's life.
Certainly,
And not that
yeah.
I'm demeaning any judges, I just know how things work sometimes.
Yep, even, again, they send you a list of 3, presumably with some credentials and identifying information.
But Zach, just a question, if I could ask real quick. If we go with the OAH formula, there's no guarantee that that judge who's selected is local to Washington County.
I don't think they will be local to Washington County. Most of these administrative law judges and the Office of Administrative Hearings is based out of Hunt Valley. I think that's Baltimore County. So there's a list. You can go on the website and see who all the administrative law judges are, but yeah, they won't be local. What we're sort of running into is a local judge has to be retired to be able to serve as the chair of the trial board. Most, if not all of the local judges, they are retired judges still hearing cases, subbing in for the judges over in the district and the circuit court. So unless they're willing to give up that position and that work to chair an as-needed trial board, they're ineligible for selection.
I guess also,
sorry.
We're sort of, got to have faith in the people we appointed for accountability boards, and because ultimately, if I didn't like what the people we picked decided, then I'd go to this judge, correct? If I was a law enforcement officer that was on the table for wrongdoing, all of us here helped determine who was on those boards.
Yes.
Those accountability boards and hearing boards.
Yes.
So then we have to have some faith in their decision.
I believe, yeah, I think you're right, Randy. And then even if they do elect and do go through the trial board process, there is an appeal up to the circuit court. So this isn't necessarily the last crack for the law enforcement officer. They can still appeal across the street to the circuit court if they don't like the ALJ or the trial board's recommendation.
But Zach, this is for the chair of the trial board.
Correct.
Who else is on the trial board?
The trial board is also consists of a law enforcement officer of equal or equivalent rank to the law enforcement.
From where?
Hopefully from the same law enforcement agency.
From Washington County?
Correct. So if it's a sheriff's deputy who is charged, it'll be a sheriff's deputy, or it'll be a sheriff's deputy.
And who else will be on that board?
There's one citizen member.
And is that a citizen member that we've already appointed?
Well, the citizen member is appointed by the Police Accountability Board, which the Board of County Commissioners, you appointed the members, or your predecessor board appointed the members of the Police Accountability Board. Our citizen trial board member is Amber Smart, and she's actually on the Police Accountability Board.
Okay, so that's two in addition to the chair. Who else?
That's it. It's a three-person.
And the determination is based upon, like any appellate court, 2 out of 3 or whatever?
It will be a majority decision, yes.
Okay.
It sounds like we have a lot of checks and balances here, because we've had our hand in about every motion of this.
And also.
I'm just worried about, the way the world is, I don't want somebody getting a raw deal because.
Sure.
We had, you know what I'm getting at. But
yeah,
I just want, our hand seems to be in every step of this.
I would say so, yes. And the law enforcement officer, they are entitled to representation by an attorney or I guess maybe a union member or union representative at this hearing as well. So they do have representation at this hearing.
So what's the reputation of the administrative law judge list of people? What's their reputation? They're in Baltimore County.
Mm-hmm.
You say they're mostly in that area. They work in this area. There's a set list of them. What's the reputation?
That I don't know. I haven't had any occasion to work with or interact with any of those judges. But
if you get a list of 3, are those randomly chosen?
I believe so. And they come from the Office of Administrative Hearings. I can dig in, or I can request or ask the question, how is that list generated? But to this point,
we could feasibly still turn those down, right?
I believe so.
For additional.
I mean, as long as I can keep turning people down that I don't feel is a right fit for our line of thinking to give a fair judgment on a police officer, if I knew that, I mean, if you bring us 3 and we say we don't want any of them, what happens?
then I guess we could request more or potentially try to, increase our efforts to find a retired judge who's not currently hearing other cases. No, this contract essentially allows us to call up the Office of Administrative Hearings when we need to convene a trial board, send us 3 names, and then the commissioners can then select from those names. But you aren't bound to those 3 as a sole source or the sole universe of who would chair this trial board.
We're not obligated to pick one of those 3.
No.
And if we do go down the path of contracting with the OAH a year or 2 down the road, we would like to take the path of a retired judge. Are we locked into one path or the other?
No, the contract can be terminated with 30 days' notice, I believe. It's sort of an at-will, hey, you sign the contract, you have us if you need us. If you never need us, great, that's neither here nor there, really. So it basically sort of allows us to make use of the administrative law judges if this board wants them, but we're certainly under no obligation to be bound by the 3 they may send, or we don't even have to.
So there's no concurrences there. What is your recommendation? Just go with the...
I think at this point, I think it's certainly worth this board entering into the contract that allows us to continue to move forward. Again, this is a new process. Figure out if the ALJs are what this board or who this board wants to appoint as the chair of the trial board. It's another avenue. If it turns out that this board isn't satisfied with the ALJs, we can certainly, start turning up stones to try to find, or turning over rocks to try to find a.
Well, the bottom line, it's mandated. We have to do something. I think I would be okay to move forward, and me personally, and as a test program to see what we think about it as it moves forward, because it sounds like we have a lot of input and a lot of hands-on. I think I would follow your recommendation, I think. Yep. So.
Okay. And just for the record, it's not listed as a concurrence, but I have been in contact with the sheriff's office, with their attorney. They're generally, okay, and we're understanding as far as this contract coming before the board. But I didn't ask for a concurrence from them.
Okay, good. Thank you. I would motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor by saying aye?
Aye.
Thank you.
Signed, thank you, 5-0. Thank you, Zach. Next item is EMS MOU.
Dave Hayes and Dave Chisholm were on their way. This agenda item is a motion to approve the memorandum of understanding between the Board of County Commissioners and the Smithsburg Emergency Medical Services Incorporated, as well as Williamsport Volunteer Fire and Emergency Medical Services, and to move their EMS employees to county employment. The leadership of both Smithsburg and Williamsport companies have reached an agreement with the Board of County Commissioners to assume responsibility for staffing of their EMS transport units. Both companies have already signed the MOU. This is just to get public approval from the Board of County Commissioners. The approximate fiscal impact of this is about $500,000, and it's already included in the fiscal year '24 budget.
So are we moving forward, or are we waiting for Dave and?
I apologize, we're probably a little ahead of schedule here.
Yeah, we are.
I think we probably should wait for them.
Okay, we'll wait until they get here.
We want to take.
Oh, they're here now.
I was ready to go without you, buddy.
Director Chisholm's parking the vehicle, and President Fishak is here.
I already went over the ARF as you have it presented here. If there's anything else you'd like to add, please do.
Yeah, so President Fishak is here and Director Chisholm will be in, but we've been working with county staff through the last comments from the commissioners. We had successful buy-in from Williamsport and Smithsburg both. So they have, as of today, fully executed their version of the document, so it's prepared for the commissioners if you so choose to move it forward. I don't know if Dale has anything to add, but basically our process is moving forward. If the commissioners authorize the document today is to work for full execution with BOCC signature, and then get a meeting on the board, on the books with county staff, county administrator, and work on how we'll bring this process forward over the next month to 60 days.
Yeah, and obviously the association's in concurs with, they're okay.
Yes, sir.
And there's been a lot of work put in this. It's been a long time. I mean, we fixed red line recommendations, and legal, I guess, has looked at it, I'm sure. You know, I think we beat this thing. I think we're ready to go. I mean, I'd motion to approve.
Second.
I just have one question. Have we taken any actions up till now to bring anybody on board, hire anybody from either Smithsburg or Williamsport? Any hires whatsoever? Okay. I'll talk to you afterwards. All righty, I'm fine with this. Yeah.
Okay, any other questions, concerns? We have a motion and a second on the floor. All in favor by saying aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you very much.
Thank you all. Thank you, thank you.
Next item, Ryder Jet Center Hangar 26 lease amendment number 4. Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning, Commissioners. Andrew Eshelman, Director of Public Works. Neil Doran, Airport Director. We're here before you because the Ryder Jet Center proposes to construct an addition to Hangar 26 of approximately 4,800 square feet. The attached amendment number 4 outlines the terms and conditions of the lease agreement. Just a little bit of background. The county owns the land at the airport and grants land leases to businesses and developers with terms commensurate to amortize the investment in conformance with the Federal Aviation Administration guidance. After this lease term expires, the airport assumes ownership of the buildings and may charge fair market rent for the buildings and land. In this case, the Ryder Jet Center has received site plan approval for the 4,800 square foot addition to Hangar 26. However, the county must grant approval on both the proposed construction and lease. In this case, the amendment includes provisions for the Ryder Jet Center paying a building base rent for the addition at the same square foot basis as the annual rent of the first hangar addition, and it also grants a new 6th and final renewal term of 5 years for the entire Hangar 26 lease. So in summary, the lease currently has a 39-year term ending in 2042. And also want to point out that the Ryder Jet Center Fixed Base Operations Agreement is coterminous with this lease. And so the new final renewal term for Hangar 26 would be the end of the calendar year, 2047. Are there any questions?
Questions? Comments? Motion?
I'd motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion and second to approve as submitted. All in favor by saying aye.
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 Opposed?
Thank you.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Okay, next item is potential legislative issues. Yes, Zach, you're up.
Good morning, Commissioners. Zachary Kiefer, Assistant County Attorney. As noted in the agenda report form, this is a time to discuss potential legislative items for discussion only. I don't believe there's any sort of recommended motion or decision that the board needs to make today, but as of today, the following have been identified as being items of potential interest for the upcoming legislative session: bond authorization, increase of the $50,000 ceiling requirement for bids for vehicle purchases, and the Office of the County Treasurer removal of that position as an elected official and conversion to a staff position commencing with the next term of office. Again, this is a time for discussion of those items or the identification of any other watch list items or issues that the board is interested in for the next legislative session.
What does the bond authorization consist of?
Yeah, if you have information on it.
Good morning, Commissioners. Kelsey Mace, Chief Financial Officer. So we get authorization from the state to issue our bonds. So every 5 years or so, we go back to the state to get a new limit that we can issue. The last one was done in 2018, and I believe that limit was 60 million. So we've been drawing down on that, and it's time to get a new authorization.
And the bond authorization, we think may be used for what?
There's no time limit on it. We have a certain amount that we can issue up to as approved by the state. The last one was done in 2018, and we've been drawing down on that every year. So it just depends on how much we issue each year and what our bond authorization limit is on when we need to request a new one.
So this one will give us a total bond access to what level?
It depends what we ask for in the legislative session. I think we were looking at doing either 60 or 80 million. So depending on how much we issue per year, it could take 5 years.
So 80, let's just say it's 80 million. That's our, but we already, how does that fit into the debt that we already have on bonds? Are we, is that a new 80 million?
That's
on top of the debt we already have?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, that just gives us our legal authority to issue them.
An additional $80 million.
Yes.
Wayne, do you have any thoughts on this?
It doesn't mean we spend it.
Commissioner Harvey?
No.
No, I know that. I'm just saying, it's potential,
Yes, this just gives
accessible.
us the ability to.
So if we needed
It's there.
something for a major project, be it, courthouse or new schools or whatever, right?
My hesitation would be my fear that some of my colleagues would really like to spend this money up quickly. That's really my hesitation. I'd like to know, we don't have a set dollar amount requested that we're asking for. I'd like to know what that amount is. It sounds like it will be $60 to $80 million, like a more finite amount on that. But, borrowing money isn't necessarily a bad thing to do. Most people wouldn't have a home if they didn't have a mortgage. Most people wouldn't be able to buy their first car if they didn't have a car loan. It's how you manage that debt responsibly.
Right, I agree.
Now, the bond issues, so this just gives us the legal authority. The actual bond issue would still go through the capital budgeting process.
We're not borrowing the money.
As far
we're
as
just
how much
No,
we're going to
no,
issue
it's
that
just-
year, and then the
it's like a
additional
credit line.
approval of the actual bond sale.
Yeah.
So there's still additional approvals from the commissioners. This just gives us the legal authority
Which
to have an
colleagues,
issue.
Wayne, do you think is wanting to spend that money? Because you made a general statement there. Would you be more specific on which colleagues you think want to spend it?
Well, I hear from time
that's
to
not fair
time
to say that, but
comments in
even
general.
talking to me
Well,
about it.
Well, there was a commissioner who just called me out, and
I
maybe you
am
can
calling
connect
you
the
out.
dots.
I'm asking you,
Maybe you
explain
can
what do you
connect the
mean,
dots,
which
Commissioner
colleagues?
Klein.
You say colleagues with an S, plural.
Maybe you can connect the dots.
Well, I think that the, having a credit line is a good thing.
Doesn't mean we have to spend.
And, I agree with Wayne that we have to be prudent about, because this would be an investment, is the way I look at it. It's not for frivolous things. It's not for, things that we should be paying as we go. But for discernible needs that the community would clearly get behind. So I'm fine with a credit line.
And I will add that 60 million has been adequate in the past simply because the amount that we issue is typically $10 to $12 million, maybe 13 or 14 if you include our enterprise funds. But if you look at our CIP plan from last fiscal year, we actually increased that in the out years. So 80 million is probably going to be the more likely amount that we would need to cover us over the next 4 to 5 fiscal years.
And all the details about, this is just an authorization. We have no idea what rates we might be looking at down the road or anything. But I'm fine with a credit line. Gives us some flexibility in case we really need.
Recommended, this is just discussion.
Right. So, I'm fine with this in this legislative item issue, so.
And then the vehicle purchases increase the $50,000 ceiling requirement for bids is a topic that we had discussed a few weeks ago, or maybe a couple of months
What dollar
ago.
amount do we want to do that? I would think if vehicles the way they're going, I'd say 65, 70,000 anyway.
At least, or even, yeah, I'm thinking
Make a
75.
recommendation, I don't, you know,
My recommendation would be 75,000.
that's fine.
Seriously?
Yeah, what's wrong with that?
You can hardly buy a truck nowadays for 75,000.
But we've been, yeah, it's okay, I don't care what we've been seeing them come through here, we can't bid on them because they're.
And I just think we'll get caught behind, so let's go higher. I'd go 100K.
I'm good.
I'm good with that.
Good with 100?
And the cost will only increase as electric vehicles become more prevalent.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know if I want to buy any of them.
What's the approval process, that you're saying they have approval to purchase at 100,000 by coming to us first?
Well, I think what we said is, example purchasing could, if Zane Rao found a deal, they could go snag it. By the time they waited for us, that deal's going.
Right, that's what's been happening.
That's sort of the intent. We're going to hear about it anyway, correct?
It would still be ratified before the board.
Right.
And it would still have to be a budgeted item.
Correct. It would need to be budgeted in.
That's
yes.
clarity.
So again, we still have our,
We don't lose control over the process.
no, okay.
There you go, 100.
And I know we're just discussing these to vet out, do we want to present these to the delegation or not? Number 3, Office of County Treasurer. I'm in support of that move. At the same time, same thing last time we discussed this. I believe that we need more clarity on exactly who the county treasurer would report to. You know, I have a preference that they report to the county commissioners or just keep that position separate from the general finance staff. I think that's important. I would prefer that they report to the county commissioners.
Yeah, but I don't see how that,
For separation of duties, you're right, it's not foolproof. Things could still go, happen.
I mean,
But-
wouldn't it be more logical to report to the people that are handling the money? I mean.
Well, the people who handle the money should be the employees who report to the treasurer. I suppose the actual cash, if that's what you're talking about.
No, I'm talking about treasurer is definitely basically an accounting type position, as best I can figure. Wouldn't they report to our budget?
I believe it's a
finance?
good idea to have separation of duties.
Separation of duties simply means the same person cannot perform the same function. We have similar functions, separation of duties within budget and finance already. For example, our purchasing department is a separate function. Our accounts payable department is a separate function. They're the ones who actually distribute the cash. Our bank reconciliations are a separate function within budget and finance. They're all done by different people. So keeping the treasurer's office separate would still maintain that separation of
And
duties.
even though when you have a situation like that in finance, things still go amiss, right? So I think it would still be important to have this is a very unique position. It's not treasurer of a nonprofit organization. It's, I think it would be helpful if that position reported directly to the commissioners. At the end of the day, I'm 20% of the vote up here, but that's my preference.
Do we need to make that clear at this point in time, or just approve this as the?
I don't think that needs to be made clear at this point in time. We just need to make the decision as far as whether we wanted to make it
Yeah, I agree. And
a position. Those decisions can be made later.
Okay,
the
thank
report
you.
can be, wouldn't matter who they report to, can be changed, the next meeting.
Yeah, okay.
So,
Is it correct that 20 out of the 24 jurisdictions already have this authorization?
That's correct. There are only 4 jurisdictions that have an elected treasurer, and we're one of the 4.
All right.
And what's the impetus for moving in this direction again? Just, you share a little bit about that?
The impetus, I think, would be to make sure that, to give us the ability to hire someone who has an accounting background, to make sure that they fully understand the ins and outs of cash collections and treasury, real estate tax revenue, and things like that.
Okay. Any other discussion?
No, I move to, do we need to vote on this one? Or is this
Just for
consensus?
discussion purposes only,
Yeah.
we're going to have this with our General Assembly
So I move
in our
to,
meeting.
Delegation.
Or delegation, I mean, yeah.
move to close session,
Second.
adjourn.
Okay, motion second. All in favor by saying aye to go into closed session?
Aye.
Okay, thank you. Let's take a